Hey guys, welcome back to the Reality Theory podcast. We appreciate everybody checking out the videos. We've been having a blast doing them. If you like our videos, if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us some comments, and we'll put out some more content for you. Yesterday was Mother's Day. We want to give a big shout out to all the mothers out there.
Hmm.
To say thank you for everything. Hope you had a great day. Hope you had a great weekend. Aside from all the rain that we've been getting here in Houston, if you're outside of Houston, hopefully you didn't get all the rain that we got. Um, but
Yeah,
anyways, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
yeah. Well, I, w- yeah. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers except for one. Um, there is one mother out there. Her name. It's the little girl who's missing in Houston. Um, Her last name's Davis. A little 5-year-old, I think 4 or 5-year-old black girl, and she went missing. I think I would say about 5, 6 days ago. And her stepfather said that they were carjacked and that there's 3 Hispanic guys that carjacked them, and the carjackers let him and his other 2 kids go, but they kept the little girl. The guy had a big knot on his forehead, blood, dried up blood on there. He went to I don't know if it was a hospital or a police station, and made up the story. And then once the police got involved, his story changed a few times. And
well,
well,
the original story sounds a little shady to begin with. Oh, they kidnapped us. They kidnapped all of us, but they let me and the little boy go. That I
yeah,
mean, come on.
it's complete bullshit. I mean, it's the same one that happened a couple weeks ago with the 2 white people, that the husband and wife that beat their 5-year-old son and put him in a cold shower and he died in his sleep. It's the same, it's the same bullshit story. You can tell when they're talking on camera that they're lying their asses off. But when I was saying with the mother, the stepfather had originally he had sexually abused this girl, and the girl had brain surgery for some reason, and the mother, knowing his history, left her alone with this guy. Then the stepfather says she went missing, so the mother, I think at first, really thought that she was kidnapped. Then come to find out, they have a new video of him carrying a laundry basket with a big black garbage bag in it with a bottle of bleach. When I
Mm,
said his story changed numerous times, and he's carrying it like it's something heavy.
yeah, that
So
seems a little suspicious.
now we went from a a search and rescue operation to hey, we gotta go find this body. But he's not talking. And to me, it's like, if you're a mother and you know that there's a man in your house, husband, brother, father, whoever it is has a past history, especially with your own daughter, they should not be left alone in that house. And they've called CPS before, and CPS did jack shit about it.
Well, not just left alone. They shouldn't be allowed anywhere near that child. I don't give a shit if you're related
Mm-hmm.
or not. I don't care how much you think you love this person or whatever. I don't care what the case is. If somebody has a history of something like that, and first of all, if they're not in jail, why would you allow somebody like that around your children? I mean, you got to be a fucking moron to let somebody like that around your children to begin with. So in my opinion, if something like this were to happen to somebody and they knowingly let somebody like that around their children, they're just as guilty.
And
They
that's
are they're just as guilty, and they
and
should be
yeah,
strung up just like anybody
and
else.
that's what I'm saying. I think she might as well have been there and done this to the little girl herself,
Exactly.
knowing that she left her with that in that situation, and her excuse was that she had to go to her father's funeral. Okay, but I understand your father's funeral. That's a traumatic thing. But if you're not going to leave your daughter in a house with a known child molester,
Well, not only that, the whole thing seems a little shady. So you went to your father's funeral but didn't take your boyfriend and your other kid with you?
yeah,
I mean,
no, it's complete bullshit.
it just the whole thing just seems a little. I mean, granted, not everybody likes to take kids to funerals. I mean, I can understand that, but at the same time, it just seems a little
I'd rather take my child to their grandfather's funeral than leave him at home with a child molester,
right.
knowing something could possibly happen. And now, like I said, CPS got their hands involved, and they didn't do jack shit about it. Now they got a dead child on their hands.
Well, CPS never. I mean, CPS is just a joke to begin with. They don't do any good for anybody.
Well, yeah, it's a government-run operation.
Well, actually, it's not a government operation.
Well,
It's a private it's a
well,
private
they're funded
organization
by the government.
that's hired by the government. And that's where a lot of people get confused is that, a lot of people think the CPS is a government organization. It's not a government organization. CPS is a private organization that is hired by the government.
And funded.
Well, yeah, they get paid.
Yeah, they get paid by federal grants. They get paid by local money too,
Sure.
and we're basically paying them to do nothing. I mean, I've
Yeah.
dealt with CPS in my previous employment. My wife is in education. She's dealt with CPS, and in all the times we've written, called, dealt with them, we get letters back saying thanks for your your concern, but at this moment there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Okay, my wife, she had a kid come to school with a broken arm. It was broken for 2 weeks, and she said, "Well, where's your mother at? Where's your father?"
Yeah.
Father's in jail. I think my mother's in Vegas or on vacation.
Well,
And this kid was like 11 years old,
yeah. I
left
mean,
by himself.
there's been numerous cases, kidnapping cases specifically, where CPS has um, failed the people. I mean, there was one uh, years ago. I don't remember all the specifics about it, but CPS had numerous times gone out to this house because they fostered children, and they went out to this house to check, do their normal checks or whatever it is that they were doing, and failed to realize that they had an extra kid that was not theirs.
Yeah. Was that the one where they left him in the shed in the back?
Something like
Or like a
that.
daycare, and they said they
Yeah.
were watching, or they were fostering these kids, but they were living in a shed?
Yeah.
With,
I don't, like I said, I don't remember the specifics.
there's so many cases, though. That's the problem.
The one thing that really stood out to me with that particular incident was the fact that CPS had been out there numerous times and failed to pick up on any of the uh, shit that was going on.
Yeah, because in my opinion, I think, CPS employees, I know there are probably some out there that actually care about their job,
I'm sure there are too.
but a majority, they're just collecting a paycheck.
But the organization as a whole is just shitty.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
it needs to be revamped. They need to figure out what the fuck's going wrong.
yeah.
Because, I mean, you got people blaming the NRA for children's death, children dying all the time, but they don't put a finger towards CPS, which is letting more kids die. It's like, yeah, get them into a foster home. It may not be the best situation, or get them into some sort of housing, but hey, they're going to be alive,
Yeah.
not dead.
No, it's just it's just an all around shitty organization. And like you were saying, there's some good people that work for CPS. We're not ragging on them.
No,
But
by any means.
that's with any organization. You're gonna have good ones and bad ones. I mean, you're gonna have people that are there just for a paycheck, and you're gonna have people there that really care and want to make things better for other people. I mean, that's with any organization is gonna be like that. You're always gonna have two sides.
Oh, of course, yeah. It's just really sad that you know we got this kind of situation going on, and people are geared so towards so many other issues that aren't as important. But then, let alone, we got kids dying, and they let that go. They just let it slide.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
But a lot of people don't. A lot of people let. It's not that they let things slide. It's that it doesn't affect them personally, so they just don't care.
Well, yeah, they don't have.
They don't.
Yeah,
That it. It's kind of out of sight, out of mind kind of deal where well, this doesn't affect me personally, or that could never happen to me. So I don't see any need to get all bent out of shape about it, or whatever the case is. Um, but these things, just because this particular incident isn't happening to you doesn't mean that it can't happen to you, and it certainly doesn't mean that it won't happen to you. You look. And it happens to all different walks of life, all different backgrounds. The rich, the poor, the all diversity. All different ethnicities. It doesn't matter who you are, where you live. These things happen everywhere, all over the place.
oh yeah.
And you should want to make things better so that they don't happen to you, so they don't happen to anyone.
Well, not yeah. They should hire people for CPS that have children. It's like, hey, do you have kids? How would you feel if your kid was beaten or sexually abused? It's like, okay, well, yeah, you're gonna have more of a I can't think of the word.
Yeah, but the problem is that just because they're a parent doesn't mean that they're
Well, I'm not saying just because they're a parent, but they're going to have a little
because
more, they're going to be connected to it a little more. Like, okay, God, that could have been my daughter, that could have been my son, and we did nothing, and, nothing, look at what happened, nothing was done. How would I feel if that were my kid? I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure this kid's taken out of the situation.
yeah, but at the same time though, like I see where you're coming from, but all of these things that are happening to these children whose parents are the ones doing it, those are shitty parents.
Oh, very
So
shitty.
so do you think if that shitty parent was working for CPS, they're not going to care just because they have kids and
Well, yeah, but at the
you
same
see what I'm
time, like
saying?
like I said, well, like police departments, you have to have uh, a background check. You have to go through a psych evaluation.
Sure.
They need, teachers don't have to do all that stuff, and you got some bad apples out there.
I think if
Teachers that want to fight their kids or beating their kids. But I mean, at the same time though, you should have people that work for CPS. They should go through the same evaluations as anyone else. If you're a public servant, if you're working there to protect people,
yes, I
you
agree.
need to go through the exact same process as anybody else.
I think if you work as a public
Lie
servant,
detector, psych exam, everything.
yep. I think if you work as a public servant, then you should have to go through the same evaluations, the same process as the police and anyone else uh, who has to go through that kind of shit. I mean, you can't have, especially if your job is interacting with children, you should definitely be checked out. You should definitely have a psych evaluation. You should definitely an extensive background check.
Yeah.
All of these things. I mean, I don't think I don't know why they don't, but I think that it's definitely a must-have.
Oh, of course. I mean, because you see all these teachers having sex with students,
Yeah,
and I'm sure it's been happening for a lot longer. But ever since social media came out,
sure. I mean, it's
obviously people, we know more about it. But I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure it happened a lot more back in the day before social media and before cell phones. Because now you got
yeah.
teachers sitting there texting their naked pictures to kids. You got kids out there bragging about it on Facebook, and now people are getting caught.
I don't
So
know
I'm
though,
sure. So
man.
I'm sure before that it was happening a lot more often.
I know, but man, growing up, man, none of my teachers looked like that. they were all they were all 50, 60 years old
Guys at that.
on their last leg.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nobody that you wanted to sleep with.
I mean, I had a few, but yeah, I mean, but at the same time though, I wasn't ballsy enough to sit there and try to hit on my teacher. I would like to me, I was always raised. You treat women with respect. You treat authority with respect. You treat adults with respect.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
I'm not going to sit there and look at my teacher and be like, "Hey, you want to go fuck after class, or you want to go grab a milk after lunch, and or anything like that." But
Yeah, but it's
these kids nowadays, they're just disrespectful little shits.
they are disrespectful, but at the same time,
Well, I mean, it's obviously a problem with the teachers too, because
it's not just that. But imagine, yeah, okay, you have respect for authority and your teachers and whatnot, but when you're a hormonal teenager and you've got a hot teacher, thoughts are going to be running through
yeah,
your
but
head.
the problem with some of these teachers, they're in their 30s and they're having sex with 10, 11-year-old kids.
Oh, I don't remember
Kids
anyone
now,
being that young.
yeah, there was one on the radio earlier today.
Most of
A teacher was 32 years old having sex with her 10-year-old student.
Well, that's just disgusting.
Kids at 10 years old are into Fortnite and Minecraft. They're not thinking about sex.
Yeah, they're out eating mud pies and
I
shit.
mean, back in my day, I was, because that's before we had video games and stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
I was always thinking about that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But that's just me. But at the same time, I wasn't going around trying to sleep with teachers. I wasn't trying to sleep with anybody. I was 10 years old.
Yeah, you're just being a kid.
I'm just being a kid, and that was it.
No, the point is, I mean, yeah, we joke about having hot teachers and stuff like that, but
It's gross.
the reality of it is it's gross. I mean, it's still child molestation regardless.
Well, and the problem is, the problem with people are saying it's like, well, it was just a boy sleeping with a hot older woman. It's like, okay, I mean, regardless,
Well, that's a
to,
whole nother.
to a guy, it's like, all right, my son just,
But
got
that's
to sleep with a hot
yeah,
teacher.
that's a whole nother issue for another
For another
episode.
episode, because that's a hot topic.
Because if I get started on that, we will go way over our
Yeah.
time, and I will most definitely piss a lot of people off.
But like you said, if that were your daughter, you'd want to kick. If that was a guy doing that to your 10-year, 11,
Absolutely.
you'd want to fucking kill him.
Oh, I would. There would be no.
Yeah.
Be no. I want to. The guy would die.
You wouldn't make it to court.
Slowly and very painfully,
Yeah, exactly.
and there would be no question about it. I would be the one ending up in jail.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like it was worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because all you know what's going to happen is that guy's going to go to jail. He's going to be let out in a couple years. He's going to be
Yeah.
put on a sex registry form,
Yep.
and then he's probably going to be out there doing it again.
Absolutely. Well,
Because
did you hear
the
about
system is fucking terrible.
Did you hear about that one guy? I like again. I don't know the specifics. I saw some post on Facebook where this guy getting let out of jail. He was in for rape or something along those lines, some kind of molestation. And he flat out said that once he gets released, the first woman he sees, he's
I
gonna
did
rape.
see that.
It's, but the shitty thing about the system is that it's not a crime to say you're gonna do something. It's only a crime when
Unless you say you're going to blow up a building or
even I mean I don't
Well,
know the specifics
on
on
a
it, but
school. I mean, you can't
I-
you can't be a student in a school saying I'm going to go blow up the school tomorrow.
But I can't
You're gonna have
imagine
the cops at your door.
Yeah, but I can't imagine saying you're going to do one thing and saying you're going to do another thing.
Yeah.
How is one worse than the other? So how can you say one's illegal and one's not? That goes back to free speech.
Exactly.
But my point
Yeah.
is that the shitty thing about the system, and it's very difficult to to make that judgment call, because he could be saying something and then never do it. So how can you say, oh well, we're going to keep you in jail because you said you're going to do something, even if you never did it?
Yeah, I mean, because you've said before, like if you see someone you don't like, you're like, I'm gonna fucking kill that guy.
Right.
But you're not gonna do it. You just say because you're angry.
Exactly.
He could just be saying that just to piss off the judge and piss off the people in the courtroom.
Yeah,
But like, I'm gonna get a rise out of these fuckers and saying we can go rape somebody again.
of course.
Yeah, doesn't mean he's like you said. It's not like he's gonna do it, but
But the shitty thing is that he
He
probably
yeah.
will, and there's nothing that they can do about it until it's been done.
like I said, next time it may not just be rape. He may rape him then kill him.
Exactly.
It's just gonna escalate because not every
So it's like,
yeah.
their hands are tied. They can't very well say, oh well, you said you're going to do this, so we're going to keep you in jail for another 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But they have to let him go and then hope that he doesn't do something to somebody. So it's just it's a shitty situation, and there's not a lot you can do about it.
I mean, in my opinion, you rape somebody, you beat a child, you molest a child, you beat on a woman for no freaking reason. You just do it because you want to. Take you out in the back.
Cut your balls off?
No. A bullet to the back of the head. If you're a child molester,
Oh,
if you beat a child, you
Absolutely.
have no fucking reason to live. And guess what? 9mm are a lot cheaper than putting these assholes in jail, in
Absolutely.
prison, or paying for their lethal injection and letting them sit on death row for 20 fucking years.
Yep.
9mm are fucking cheap.
I agree, but at the same time, you also have to look. So you said child beaters. So you have to look at the system, and there are people in jail for beating their children.
Well, yeah, you have to go back to the whole. Well, that's what I'm saying. But that's,
maybe all they did was spank them or whatever.
which I'm totally in favor for.
Sure.
If your kid has, because that's one of the problems with this world nowadays. People don't discipline their kids in the proper way. They sit there and yell at them and threaten them. They don't spank. They don't.
Use your words, little Johnny. Use your words.
Yeah.
Why are you upset?
Oh yeah. Or they say, okay, yeah, oh, I'm sorry.
Let's
yeah.
talk it out.
Go to your safe space. We'll take care of it.
No, I'm gonna spank your ass, and you're gonna straighten up, or you're gonna get another pop.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, look, and I read an article the other day, from CNN, of course. CNN posted this.
Why
deal.
were you even? Okay, first of all, question: Why are you watching? Why are you looking at CNN?
Look, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, okay?
No, they're just idiots. They're not
No, they're
enemies.
just-
They're
they're
just fucking
idiots.
morons.
But the article was talking about child discipline or corporal punishment for children or whatever, spanking, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they've some famous lady, whatever her name is, conducted some.
She a politician?
No, she's a psychiatrist or something.
Oh, okay.
But she conducted this study on spanking children. The effects of spanking children, as opposed to using positive reinforcement. So she was basically saying that everybody likes to say that, oh well, I got spanked when I was a kid and I turned out just fine. And her point to that was that, well, yeah, you may have turned out just fine, but that doesn't mean that the vast majority of people turned out just fine, just because you turned out fine. Well,
You might have just been that special case.
Right, is that was her point to the whole thing. Well, my point is that I've never met anyone who's been whooped as a kid and
Turned
and
out to be a fucking
and turned
an
out to
asshole.
be some dickhead or some, mentally unstable person because of that. I mean, I've known people that have turned out to be mentally unstable, but it wasn't because they got spanked as a child.
No,
It
I
was
mean you can
because
use your palm and spank a kid. I'm not saying you're not going to sit there and smack them across the face, make their nose bleed.
no,
You smack them in the
it
ass.
does look for most kids it doesn't take much. If you
Just
pop,
the threat of it
if
sometimes
well if you pop them once or twice, after that all you have to do is threaten it for a while
until they forget how
and
bad
until they
it felt, and then
exactly
all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, I don't want this again. Yeah,
exactly
then you hit them again. Not hit them, but spank them.
you spank
No,
them.
like I said,
Yeah.
I don't believe in hitting kids, but I think,
No,
like I said, getting back to my thing,
you
I
should.
honestly don't think those kind of people should be alive.
No,
Like just in my opinion, if you get pleasure out of beating on a child, not even sexual molesting, just beating on a child,
not even just
you're it's like
any
you're a piece of
form
shit in my mind.
any
And
forms of abuse, whether it's verbal, whether it's physical, whether it's sexual, whatever the case is, any kind of abuse to a child um, should definitely come with lifelong
well, that's
punishments.
what I'm saying. But that goes, and then it goes back to CPS because I've seen where they take these cases which a kid was spanked with a belt and it leaves a teeny little bruise on their ass. Oh, we're gonna rip this kid out of this house right now.
Yeah,
Hey, this kid was molested and had, head injuries.
but they're just fine.
We'll leave him there and see if things get better.
Yeah,
And then that's the kid that winds up dead, and the kid who has his ass spanked was really in a good home, and the parents are trying to discipline him before he starts acting out and doing some dumb shit.
exactly.
And that's where again the system fucking fails because these people don't under. I just don't understand how they can't see the difference between a spanking and a fucking real abusive situation. It's like I was spanked. I mean,
it's
our
ridiculous.
parents,
Oh, I got whooped all the time. I got whooped at school by the principal.
Yeah, see, I was in New York, so we didn't get that over there because they're very
I remember it very vividly.
they're a bunch of wieners out there.
They, at the beginning of the year, you get all this paperwork that you have to take home for your parents to sign. In that paperwork was basically a permission slip to swat your child if they act up. So, of course, my parents signed it, and I got called. I don't even remember what I did. I do remember the SWAT though, but I got called into the principal's office, and they called my mom while I was there. Hey, do we have permission to spank you? Even though they already had the permission, so
They still want to ask.
they have
Yeah.
to double
It's a
check.
liability on
Yeah.
their issue if they.
And
Yeah.
they said yes, or my mom said yes. You have permission to swat him. So I got whooped at school, sent back to class, and then when I got home,
You got your
I
ass
got
beat
whooped again. But you know what though? Whatever it was that I
You
did,
didn't do that shit again.
I don't, like I said, I don't remember what it was, but I can guarantee I didn't do it again.
Yeah.
The punishment has to be greater than the joy or the thrill of whatever it is that you did wrong.
Oh, of course.
If it's not, you're going to do it again because you feel like you got away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to me, it's common sense. If the punishment, just like with jail, there are people who prefer to be in jail because it's better in jail than it is being out on the streets without a job and no money, living on the streets,
Yeah,
not knowing if you're going to have a meal.
Yeah, they're getting a warm bed, they're getting free food, they're getting free clothing, free showers,
Yeah, and now-
they get to interact with other people.
Well, and now they have rights. How is it that you broke the law? You lost your rights. You have no rights. Why do you have rights when you're in
Oh yeah,
prison?
speaking of that, fucking Mr. Bernie Sanders wants. Did you hear about that shit?
What a
He wants to let all criminals, whether they're on death row, felons, whatever they've done, he wants to let them vote from jail.
That's why he wants them to vote from jail. So
'Cause
they'll
it's
vote.
what-
So they'll
yeah,
vote for him.
They go, oh yeah, we have some sort of freedom now. We have rights, so we're going to vote for Bernie, who gave us this right. No, fuck him.
If you break the law, you lost your rights. You have no rights. You should get 3 shitty meals a day. Whatever the
So,
bare
yes, some Swanson dinners that have some nasty ass corn and
No.
a piece of chicken in there, and that's about it.
it should be the bare minimum for you to be able to live.
Yeah.
And you should be confined to your cell for the majority of your time, not allowed out, with the, general population or whatever, yard time and all this bullshit. No, you should be
Well, also
confined.
depending on what you did too.
I don't care what you did.
Well, I'm saying if you're in there for a traffic ticket for you forgot to pay.
Yeah, but you don't go to prison for a
No, no,
traffic
I'm not
ticket.
saying prison, but it's
You
like
go to
jail.
county jail.
Yeah,
It's a little
but
county,
you don't want to be treated like a complete animal over something
the
over
county
something stupid.
jail, county jail and prison
Oh,
are
oh, two completely different.
two completely
Oh no,
different
I know.
things.
Yeah,
So my point is prison is become this thing that isn't that bad. It's not that bad to be there. Is it scary? Sure. I'm sure it's scary. I've never been to prison, but I can assume that
don't
it's
drop the soap.
but I can
Don't.
assume that it's scary. But
Yeah,
but my point is that if the punishment isn't greater than the thrill of whatever it is that you're doing, then you're gonna do it again.
yeah. I mean, I know. I like when I was in school, my biggest thing was just not paying attention. I just didn't give a shit about school. I sat there. Why do I need to know this?
There's a
But
lot
I
of
but I
kids
also
like
came from a military family.
that. Yeah.
I was terrified of my parents. Not that they never they spanked me once in a while, but man, could they yell if they wanted to. And I knew they were all about discipline.
They're strict.
Yeah, about respect, and that's how I grew up. And that's I know I am a little hard on my son sometimes, but I see how kids are nowadays, and I'm trying to get that instilled in him. Look, you hold the door for women, you treat elders with respect, just be a gentleman. And that's one thing that kids are missing nowadays.
Well, but there's a reason for that, and it's because the feminists have taught us that it's not okay to be a gentleman.
Oh yeah, I don't need you to hold the door because I'm a strong woman. I can hold the door for myself.
Yes.
But then when you don't do it, well, this asshole didn't hold the door. Well, either way, if I do or I don't, I'm fucked either way. So
But here's the problem though.
I'd rather be yelled at for being a gentleman than not. I got yelled at for calling someone ma'am after I got out of the military because she was 40 years old. She goes, "Ma'am, how old do I look?" I said, "Like you're 40." I said, "But it's called a thing called respect." I said, "I call everybody sir and I call everybody ma'am. If you don't like it,
yeah.
fuck off." I
Oh,
didn't say that because I was at work, but I said I told her I said it's a thing called respect. I just got out of the service, and it's instilled in me to do that.
Oh, you should love it in Texas then.
Oh,
Everybody.
I do.
It's all ma'ams and sirs. It doesn't matter how
no,
old you are.
No, but that happened in New York.
Yeah.
Once again, a fucked up, a state that I'm regretting to see go down in the shitter.
It's not doing
It could
too
be
well
such a
right
great
now.
state, but yeah,
Yeah.
bunch of fucking morons running it over there.
Yeah.
But I still have family over there. I still love them. I still love the egg sandwiches and the pizza.
It's all about the food, man.
Oh yeah,
It's all about the food.
food and the family.
That's the only reason I travel. The only reason I travel is for food. I could care less about seeing the sights. I don't care where I'm at. I don't give a shit
Oh
about
yeah,
your sights.
give me some food.
Where's the good food at? I come here for the food.
Yeah, give me some food.
That's all I care about.
No, exactly. But like I said, it's just a sad state of affairs.
Yes, it is.
Watching New York turn into a fucking smaller California. Because California just needs to break off of that line and just fucking float off into the ocean and
I'm convinced
sink.
that it will someday. I have hope. I have hope.
Let's
I
pray.
have a lot of hope.
Let's pray. I know there's a lot of people on there that they don't deserve it, but
Yeah, but you know what though?
it's just like, fuck.
sometimes you got to look at the greater good. We'll give them a quick small chance to get out before it.
20 minutes.
In 20 minutes, you better get your shit and get to moving.
Yeah, really. If you're by the ocean, sorry, you don't have enough time to get to the other side.
Yeah.
No, but it's fucked up. But like
No,
I
I
said,
mean I've got family in California, and
oh, no, I think my cousin lives there.
and they're gun-toting,
Yeah.
diehard Republicans, and but they're swimming in a sea of shit right now, and have been for quite a while.
Oh yeah.
But they've lived there their whole lives, and they probably won't go anywhere else. you know?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, once they get stable in the place, they start liking it. I mean, I don't blame 'em. Like I said, if I could afford to move back to New York, honestly, I mean, I would. I know I would. Miss the seasons, miss the food, miss a lot of my family. But I said most of my family's here. But
I'd like to
it's
visit.
just a great. I mean, I honestly, it's a great place to be. It was. I'll put it that way. It's not anymore.
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
I mean, for me, it's more about the weather. I like the cold weather.
Oh yeah, you have all four seasons over there.
I love the cold weather. I've got, most of my family most of my dad's side of the family lives in Maine,
Yeah.
and my mom's side's from Michigan, and
The cold. Yeah.
here we are in the hot, humid Texas, it's kind of
We have
shitty.
summer and a hot fall.
So
That's about it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's all we've got.
So I love visiting up north. It's definitely nice.
Oh yeah.
I never
So
want to leave when I
yeah.
go.
So sorry to all our New York and California listeners, but you guys need to get the fuck out
Yeah.
and move to an actual state with some smart representatives. So that's about all for today. Um, Once again, we just want to thank you guys if you are watching. Thanks for tuning in and listening to listen to what we got to say. And if you do like our videos, just like and subscribe and leave some comments. I mean, like I said, if you sit there and leave us a comment talking about how much you hate us and talking shit about us, we're not going to respond. But if you want to leave us
Yeah.
a nice comment with some constructive criticism, we'll respond. If you have any topics you want us to talk about, just let us know, and we'll be more than willing to talk about it. If it's as long as it's something that that we know about. If not, we'll try to study up and
I talk about shit I don't know about all the time,
yeah,
anyways.
we'll just make up stats like Democrats do. We'll just make up stats.
Yeah, we'll just make shit up.
So,
But no, definitely subscribe. Leave us some comments, even if it's just to say hey, or if you've got a question, whatever the case is. Just give us some feedback. But we'll see you guys next time.
and again, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Ciao.